reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead and Narayan.
One should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead and Narayan.
Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being.
Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being.
To Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning.
To Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning.
Unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author.
Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna.
Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna.
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha.
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha.
Hridyanta Stoya Bhadrani.
Hridyanta Stoya Bhadrani.
Vidunoti Saritsatam.
Vidunoti Saritsatam.
Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead.
Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead.
Who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart.
Who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart.
And the benefactor of the truthful devotee.
And the benefactor of the truthful devotee.
It cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee.
Cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee.
Who has developed the urge to hear his messages.
Who has developed the urge to hear his messages.
Which are in themselves. Virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
Virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
Nastapreshu Bhadreshu.
Nastapreshu Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavatam Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance and classes on the Bhagavatam. And by the rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart. Is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead. Who is praised with transcendental songs. Is established as an irrevocable fact. I used to think that it would be nice to have a little farm, and I used to think, what would I put above it, coming in to Srila Prabhupada's world, you know what I mean, leaving all your cares behind, And I was just thinking, that last one right there, putting all of it, and translation and everything as you're entering into the farm, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by the rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So beautiful. I thought, well, what should you call it? Srila Prabhupada's farm, no Maya beyond this point, or I don't know, so many different things you can think of. But so many things you put up there, some things is almost like maybe I'm insulting somebody. I say no Maya beyond this point. You think I'm in Maya, like that. But if you put something like this, it's all positive. It's all completely transcendental. It's completely inspiring. It's completely purifying. And it's aspirational, from step one.
That kind of reminds me though, but I can't remember exactly how it went, but Yogeshwar Prabhu tells a story about it. He said something to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, was saying like, I feel like I'm really, like really in Krishna consciousness or something,
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember what one?
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada, I feel like sometimes, I'm always in Maya, but sometimes I fall into a little bit of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Prabhupada says,
No, the other way around.
Oh, I got it backwards.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm not a morning person.
Yeah.
But,
that's what Prabhupada said. Sometimes you're always in Maya. Sometimes you fall into Krishna consciousness.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because Yogeshwar was saying, sometimes I fall into Maya, but I'm, in Krishna.
Yeah.
No. Sometimes.
Yeah.
You're always in Maya.
Yeah. it's kind of like saying, when should I be humble? Always. I mean, especially in front of the spiritual master. We should feel ourselves just a fool and never like act like I know anything better than my spiritual master at all, and not try to correct my spiritual master or anything like that. You know what I mean? Even if you know that maybe I think he might have said something wrong there, but he didn't mean to say that. I'm sure he meant to say that.
Or the way he pronounced
He
the
never,
word.
even in our mind, we shouldn't really correct the spiritual master.
Or even the way that he may pronounce the word.
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
somebody should do that.
Exactly.
And I remember Satguru Maharaj, when right before Prabhu was going to arrive in the Atlanta temple, he gave us a class on etiquette in front of Prabhupada. And he said, so one should always feel himself or think himself a fool. Yeah, the word he used was think. You always should think yourself a fool in front of your spiritual master. And my immediate reaction to that was, I don't have to think it. I know it. You know? I knew I was a fool.
Yeah.
I still know.
Oh, you felt that way? Is that what you're
I
saying?
really felt like I know I'm a fool.
Well, you're blessed, Prabhuji.
No, I never felt. I always was very shy around Prabhupada.
But Prabhupada said you should think yourself a fool and a spiritual master, but you shouldn't act like a fool.
No, you shouldn't act like. That's why and a fool can hide himself as long as he keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
Once you open your mouth, then you reveal yourself. As I just said.
yeah, but that's just sometimes the devotee's way of wanting to, feel somehow humbled or, Okay, so we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 8, Text 17. Please repeat. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha. Dharmo, Yash, Cha. Yuge. Dharmo, Yash, Cha, Yuge. Dharmo, Yash, Cha, Yuge. Avatara nu charitam. Yad ascharyatamam. Hare. Yad ascharyatamam. Hare. Yad ascharyatamam. Hare. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha. Dharmo, Yash, Cha, Yuge. Avatara nu charitam. Yad ascharyatamam. Hare. Yugani, Yuga, Manam, Cha. Dharmo, Yash, Cha, Yuge. Avatara nu charitam. Yad ascharyatamam. Hare.
Yugani Yuga Manam Cha. Dharmo Yacha Yuge. Avatara Nucharitam. Yadacharyatamam Hare.
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Avataranu Charitam
Avataranu Charitam
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Avataranu Charitam
Avataranu Charitam
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Avataranu Charitam
Avataranu Charitam
Yadascharyavattamam Hare
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Dharmo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Avataranu Charitam
Avataranu Charitam
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Yugani Yugamanam Cha
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Dhammo Yascha Yuge Yuge
Avataranu Charitam
Avataranu Charitam
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Yadascha Yattamam Hare
Anybody else?
How about the law?
Okay.
Is that the little boy's name? Blood?
Blood.
Wow. Please repeat. Yugani.
Yugani
The different ages.
The different ages
Yugamanam.
Yugamanam
The duration of each age.
The duration of each age
Cha. As well as. Dharmaha.
Dharmaha
The particular occupational duty.
The particular occupational duty
Yacha.
Yacha
And which.
and which
Yuge.
in
In each and every yuga.
each and every yuga
Or particular age.
or particular age
Avatar.
Avatar
The incarnation.
Incarnation
Anucharitam.
Anucharitam
And the activities of the incarnation.
and the activities of the incarnation
Yat.
Yat
Which.
Ascharyatamam
The most wonderful activities.
The most wonderful activities
Hare. Of the Supreme Lord.
of the Supreme Lord.
Translation. Please repeat. Please explain all the different ages
Please explain all the different ages
in the duration of the creation,
in
the duration of the creation
and also the duration of such ages.
and
and
also
also the duration of such ages.
Also tell me about the different activities
also tell me about the different activities
of the different incarnations
Of
of the different incarnations
of the Lord in different ages.
of the Lord in different ages.
So I'll read that again. Translation. Please explain all the different ages in the duration of the creation, and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, although non-different from Him, are emanations from the Supreme. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from the great and learned sage Shukadeva Goswami about the different activities of such incarnations, so that the incarnation of the Lord might be confirmed by His activities in the authoritative scriptures. Maharaj Parikshit was not to be carried away by the sentiments of the common man to accept an incarnation of the Lord very cheaply. Instead, he wished to accept the incarnation of the Lord by symptoms mentioned in the Vedic literatures and confirmed by an acharya like Shukadeva Goswami. The Lord descends by his internal energy without any obligation to the laws of material nature, and thus his activities are also uncommon. The specific activities of the Lord are mentioned, and one should know that the activities of the Lord and the Lord himself are identical due to being on the absolute plane. Thus, to hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly, and association with the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. We have already discussed this point in the previous volume, so I'll read those last two sentences. Thus, to hear the activities of the Lord means to associate with the Lord directly. And association with the Lord directly means purification from material contamination. We have already discussed this point in the previous volume. Okay, a translation again. Please explain all the different ages and the duration of the creation, and also the duration of such ages. Also tell me about the different ages, activities of the different incarnations of the Lord in different ages. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds." The four ages, in contrast to the Western concept. Does everybody know how the Western concept of time is? How it is?
Linear.
Linear. And we're so conditioned to thinking in that way. In contrast to Western, the concept of linear time, the sacred texts of India view reality from the perspective of cycles called yugas. Our current cycle of history is seen as one of many stages that recur eternally. Our current cycle of history is seen as one of many stages that recur eternally. Ages turn into new ages and then back again. Nature shows hints of this throughout life. The seasons repeat themselves. The days of the week recur. Day turns into night, and then day again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Indian seers take this as an indicator of what happens in all aspects of reality. Life does not end with death. Rather, the soul is reborn in a new body. In this way, the soul lives through a cycle of lives, much as the various ages associated with cosmic time repeat themselves. History moves in a succession of great cycles called Divya Yugas. The Vedic texts give minute details on the length of each cycle. Each Divya Yuga is composed of 4 ages, progressively declining in length. Satya Yuga, or sometimes Krita, anybody heard that before? Krita Yuga? Which lasts 1,728,000 years. And of course, Lord Vamanadev was the incarnation of Krishna in the Satya Yuga.
How many years is it?
Vamanadev?
How many years?
1,728,000. And in that age, to attain perfection basically was meditation, right? Meditation. We could actually perform yoga in that age. Prabhu says in Kali Yuga it's just a farce. Except Bhakti Yoga, of course, under an authorized spiritual master. According to the Parampara, if you're connected with the Parampara, it's authorized. So then you're actually practicing Bhakti Yoga by the grace of an authorized Acharya. So, yes, Satya Yuga, 1,728,000 years. That was the golden age, right?
Yeah.
The golden age.
I just always heard it was longer than that.
You're probably thinking of all of them together. It is a little confusing.
Sometimes it doesn't say,
2.2.
No,
I thought it said 1.8.
yeah, that's just rounding it up from 1.7.
I thought I heard 2.2, but.
Treta Yuga, which lasts 1,296,000 years. And of course, Lord Ram appeared in Treta Yuga as a perfect king. He came as a perfect king, right? And Vamanadev came as what?
To walk from.
What was his purpose, you know? What was his mission?
Take the kingdom back from God.
Yeah. And did it in such a beautiful way, too. Such a sweet way. So Treta Yuga, and what would you call that? Would you call that the Iron Age, or?
Silver.
Okay, Silver Age. So the Golden Age, the Silver Age, and then how did we attain perfection in Treta Yuga?
It's either sacrifice or
sacrifice.
Yeah, great sacrifices, and you can imagine the huge coliseums, you know, and just I don't know how many tons and tons and tons of ghee, and all of these great sages coming from everywhere. Just massive, an amazing event, just an amazing event. And transcendental sound vibrations being emanated by all these qualified brahmanas, just murmuring probably all the time, the entire event probably, I just can't even conceive of it, But, and of course, sacrifices, and all of the golden instruments, they're all the way, completely pure golden, all the way through. And there's no such thing as grading gold back in those days. It was just gold, not 24 karat gold, 12 karat gold, whatever. It was just golden, everything they used was golden. And but that's just barely touching on the surface, really. So that's Treta Yuga. And then, of course, Treta Yuga, which lasts 1,296,000 years. Now, Dwapara Yuga, which lasts 864,000 years. Well, we all know Krishna came in Dwapara Yuga, but he didn't come till the very end. So it almost seems like, well, who's the incarnation for Dwapara Yuga? Well, Krishna comes right at the end, So, and of course, in his original form, how fortunate are we 5,000 years ago, just very recently, in his original form. It came and to relieve the burden of earth, all up from the, what would you call them, military forces, the oppressive weight of military forces on Mother Earth, and of course, to reestablish the principles of religion, he descends himself, to save us, to help us, and on behalf of his devotees as well. Devotees are always begging Krishna to come. So that was Dwapara Yuga, which would be called the
Copper.
copper, right? Because a lot of people might say, wait, isn't it bronze? That's actually copper. And then of course, after that, we have the most inauspicious / auspicious stage. Because even though it's very inauspicious, it's very auspicious, because in this age, simply chanting the Lord's holy name, we attain perfection. Now, in the previous age, Dwapara Yuga, it was great temple worship, like any way you could improve, the whole community takes part, the whole village, families, great temple worship, opulent temple worship. You know what I mean? It's like last night I thought, well, let me get some good stuff, from, Sam's Club. I got like 4 different things. I just focused on fruit. And then I go in there and I said, oh my God, they got a whole case in here of blueberries and stuff, It's like somebody just blowing me out of the way. All I got was apples, oranges, and peppers, all kinds of peppers, whatever. And I thought, well, I guess that's nice, but maybe next time I'll just ask, what do they need? You know what I mean? Because that would be good to know. What do they need, I need to ask the cooks about that, I guess.
devotion.
Yeah.
We use.
So we could always bring flowers anytime, right? Just make sure they get put in the refrigerator, right?
We bring anything to the kitchen, we'll use them all.
Use everything. Do y'all use coconuts at all?
Whole coconut, no, coconut, flakes.
Yeah, the whole coconut. Okay. Who has good quality coconuts, do you know?
Oriental stores and
Those Oriental
Okay.
was.
Oriental
The
stores.
Oriental stores. Oh, okay. So, the Iron Age of Kali Yuga. It's only 432,000 years long. And the incarnation of this age would be, Lord Chaitanya, the golden avatar, the hidden incarnation of the Lord. And he comes, and after he comes, there's 10,000 years of a golden age within Kali Yuga. And we're in it now, because it started when he descended, when he came. When he made his appearance, is when it began. So 10,000 years. And I've said it before, but in this coronavirus, it proves it can happen just like that. Those football coliseums where you have, like at Tuscaloosa, we'd have a program on Sunday, and they'd have games on, I think, Saturday night.
Yeah.
And we'd get down there Saturday night, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we'd hear the arena just, because it's only a few blocks from where we're having the program. And just to think if that was actually the Maha Mantra and the devotees, prasadam, you'd probably smell prasadam for all around, emanating out of that arena. Incense bellowing out. And the Maha Mantra just bellowing out. I mean, these things, I'm sure we've all had dreams. I had one dream one time where we were in Huntsville and we were on the back of a pickup truck, and this was in the future, and there was no traffic on the roads, and there was nothing for people to do. And we were going through the street, and on the back of this flatbed pickup truck, we had a great kirtan going. All the kids were running out of the houses and running after the truck. And it was just so exciting, I thought. It's like a vision of the future,
Well,
What else is there going to be to do,
But we also did that during the mayor's race in Atlanta, 1973. But we were on top of a Mercedes-Benz step van. They don't make them anymore.
What was that like, Prabhuji?
It was amazing. It was incredible. We would go. First of all, we called it the Kali Yuga elephant because it had an elephant gear. It would move. The first gear moved like just 1 or 2 miles an hour, and it kind of wobbled like an elephant. We're sitting on top of it. On one side is the Hare Krishna mantra, and the other one is for Talavana. And we were throwing bananas and things like that, chanting. Going through the cities was fantastic. All the businessmen and secretaries and all, they were all trying to get the fruits and things. Sometimes we had marigold.
Y'all were throwing fruits down?
Yeah, we throw fruit, bananas, yeah.
That's awesome.
And they would go, hey, Krishna, and then, but then we go into the projects, and all the kids would gather around us. And so we have a competition. If you could chant louder than I can, and I had a microphone, then, we'd give you more. So we'd have a competition doing that. So then one time we were going to a big function where all the big leaders of the state were there. All the big business leaders, governor, the present mayor, all the candidates for mayor, all the religious leaders were there. It was a big function. And we come rolling in with this truck. And we got about 100 to 200 young children going, Haribo, Haribo! The cameras were rolling.
I was wondering, because I was thinking, I know kids, and I know they love to dance and sing.
Yeah,
So were they dancing too?
Oh yeah, they were loving it. It
Wow.
actually was on Walter Cronkite. And Walter Cronkite was the most trusted man in America at CBS.
Wow.
It was amazing. But they were chanting Hare Krishna as well. But
Yeah,
the
CBS
Hare-
interviewed me in front of Elvis Presley's mansion. I said some nice things, but later in the interview on TV, didn't hear a word, not even a word that I said.
You couldn't
was
help
released
but
on
hear this Hare Krishna. These
Yeah.
kids, and they were all the leaders are like looking, what is going on? They're taking over the youth. They're taking over. We had a bunch. It was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
It was so ecstatic. Vishnu John was there. Yeah.
Giving people a reason to live,
Yeah.
So these four periods are called the golden, the silver, the copper, and the iron ages, respectively. We are now more than 5,000 years into Kali Yuga. After that, in roughly 427,000 years, there will be a partial destruction of the universe. And then a new Satya Yuga will dawn. According to the text, as the ages decline in length from Satya to Kali Yuga, piety and other virtues also diminish in a commensurate way. The four yugas altogether, in parentheses, and thus one Divya Yuga, last 4,320,000 human years. The four yugas. 1,000 such cycles, 4.32 billion years, make up merely one day in the life of Brahma. Each day is followed by a night of equal length. During the night, Brahma sleeps, and most planets are submerged in the waters of devastation. At the end of the night, Brahma awakens, and another day of 1,000 cycles commences. 360 of these days and nights make up one of Brahma's years. Brahma lives 100 such years. Okay, I didn't realize it said this down here, but regarding methods of worship in each of the ages, in Satya Yuga, one attained the absolute through deep meditation, in Treta Yuga through opulent sacrifices, in Dwapara Yuga through deity worship, and in Kali through chanting the holy name of the Lord.
So how long would they live in each age?
In each what?
In each age, how long would they live?
Oh, yeah. Good point. Satya Yuga, 100,000 years. And you might meditate for 60,000 years and still not attain perfection. Underwater even. But, and then in Treta Yuga, it was 10,000 years. The lifespan. Average lifespan. And then in Dwapara Yuga, it was 1,000 years, which you see evidence of that in the Bible even, Methuselah lived 969 years. There are some other mention of long living like that. So, and then in Kali Yuga, the average lifespan might be 100 years, but technically it's usually shorter. But if you live a full life, good, healthy, you might live. Simple diet, you might live 100. Yes, Prabhu?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. You may want to make a comment about that or anything. Any questions?
So you said that we're 5,000 years into Kali Yuga, but you said Kali Yuga will only last 432,000 years.
Kali Yuga, it's 432,000 years long, but we're 5,000 years into it, so there's 427,000 years left to go, I believe, of Kali Yuga. And then, of course, there's other incarnations. I mean, there's also, Srila Vyasadeva, 5,000 years ago, the literary incarnation of the Lord. And so we're very fortunate. And then, of course, Kalki incarnation at the end of this age. He comes at the end of this age. So the Lord's always trying to attract us to come back to Him. So I know y'all like stories.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am?
You also said that this age is also partly known as the golden age, 10,000 years. Are we still in that, or it's already over?
Yeah, we're just diving into it. I mean, Lord Chaitanya was it 428 years ago, whatever, something like that, that he was here. Is 500, maybe 30 years, whatever, ago. It was just yesterday he was here. And they say he was 7 foot 3 inches tall. People don't think about those things. He was so beautiful. I mean, just looking at him, everybody would just get intoxicated, basically, with so powerful, seeing God himself. He came to save the most fallen, dancing, chanting, singing, and hearing the truth from self-realized souls. Prabhupada says, who would not be attracted to this movement? Chanting, singing, chanting, dancing, singing, hearing truth from self-realized souls, and eating this prasadam, the remnants of the Lord. We only offer the best to the Lord, and then of course we partake of his remnants. Imagine eating. That's all we do. All we do is we eat the Lord's remnants. That's all we do here on this farm in Krishna consciousness. We're so blessed. Was there any question you had, Maji?
No, that's...
Chanting, dancing, feasting, and hearing the truth from self-realized souls. In other words, the Brahmanas, it's just like I was telling Jagabalavi yesterday, I said, all these years, I always wish, that, the people out there would come. We want to be of service, But they don't realize that in India, the Brahmanas, they're supposed to be approached, for guidance in life. And every well-meaning preacher out there is trying to do that. They're overwhelmed. And we want to do that too. We want to help, and we want to give real knowledge. Imagine hearing actual truth from authorized, only authorized because of one's guru, the disciplic succession, How refreshing that is in this age. You know what I mean? Because so many times we've been misled, Anybody else?
Well, just that Prabhupada said these kinds of situations that we're going through now are actually, they help create the need. The people feel the need, a hunger for what is the truth, for what is spiritual life. And when people, I call them Draupadi moments, and it's
I'm sorry, Prabhu.
I call them Draupadi moments.
Draupadi, that's what I thought you said.
That when so much distress, and you can see how people are sort of gnawing on each other. There's a lot of fear. So, but at that time, that's when people take shelter of the Lord. That's when they reach out to God. I mean, pious people do. That's what's in this particular in this situation. Of course, they have their internet and everything, but to see all these churches and everything empty, people, it's on their most sacred days, and people, like I remember when the planes flew into the building, I happened to be driving to Mobile, Alabama, and I saw literally double parked outside all the churches. People were running into their churches when it happened. That's what happens when people are in the most...
They're taking shelter of their Dham.
And Prabhupada said, they will come to us. They will come to our temples, to our farms, and they will take shelter. But whatever stage they're at, and we have to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And so it's a great opportunity for us.
It's almost as if you can hear him saying, you need not worry, they will come.
This is going to arrange it for us.
Yeah.
We make all the plans. It's going to happen, whether we're ready for it or not.
Yeah. And who was it who said that? Did you raise your hand, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can finish it, Prabhu. You were saying.
Somebody said, I mentioned in last class, I think, too, and it was Bhavananda, maybe, who said Bhaktisiddhanta, my Gurudev, has sent all of you to help me in this mission.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he said, but how's that possible? Srila Prabhupada, we're the most fallen, and the hippies and everything, and, eating meat, whatever, all these different things. He says, no, that was simply what was the word he used? Not artificial,
Superficial.
superficial, yeah. And as soon as you heard the holy name, you came running. So that makes us feel really good because we don't want to dwell on our dark past, you know what I mean? The Prabhu says, he did say in another case, he said, there was an interviewer type person, and he wanted to record the devotees' previous lives before they came to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhu says that was all before. That was all blackness, dark, blackness. Not important. Not important. You know, he didn't think it was important to cover that because we know that the truth of the matter is, twice born means that you're born of your guru the second time. First time by your mother, you're given that name, but twice born means you're born again. Christians call it born again. Same thing, twice born. You know, but in our case, you actually take initiation. It's a ceremony and everything. You actually take initiation. It's very, very serious, you know. I just found out recently something, I don't know if y'all know about this, but why is it that in a wedding ceremony, they walk 7 times around the sacrificial fire?
God knows.
Because 180 degrees, the only number that can't divide 180, however they call it, mathematicians, and I don't know if it's prime numbers or whatever it is, but anyway, the only one that can't break through the 180 is supposed to be the number 7. So you have protection in your marriage, you know, all the way around. If you circumambulate 7 times, you know.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's one thing I learned recently.
Hey,
I have an Indian friend in Alabama. He sends all these things he finds interesting. Anybody else have an interesting point they want to bring up? Oh, I'm sorry, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Right. So this 10,000 years that we talked about before, I had done some research before. What is the scriptural origin of where it is coming from? So this is actually coming from Puran, Bhavishya Puran. So this is happening when end of Dwapar Yuga, when Lord Krishna was leaving this planet. So he went to Ganges, Mother Ganga. So then Mother Ganga came under personification. She came out and then she paid obeisance to Krishna and then she pleaded with him, now that you're going, so what will happen to me? So people, Kali Yuga is going to start and people are going to come, they're going to deposit all their sins in me and I'll turn blackish. So what is my redemption? So where am I going to go? So then that's when Lord Krishna said that you can be here for the next 10,000 years. And don't worry about the Kali Yuga. So devotees will come. There will be devotees of mine who will be chanting my holy name. And they will come with vertical for the Urdhva Kundra Tilaka. And they will come and take bath in you. So that's when all your sins will be taken away. So and you can remain here in this earth planet for 10,000 years. So that is where this 10,000 years is coming from.
So you're saying that
It's already 5,000 years past. There's only 5,000 years more. So that devotees use in different contexts in different ways, but this is the actual scriptural origin of that.
Well, my understanding, Prabhupada said that it was inaugurated when Lord Chaitanya made his appearance 500 years ago. The incarnate, when he appeared, he inaugurated the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, which is the Yuga Dharma. So prior to that, it was Kali Yuga, and now it has begun ever since the golden period within Kali Yuga is beginning from the point of Lord Chaitanya's appearance.
It's not there for our groups. I've already done that.
I know what you're talking about. I guess you've all heard about Mother Ganges, right? And she was concerned, and then so you're saying that maybe after 10,000 years she might dry up, though? Is that what you're saying? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, understand.
5,000 years.
After 5,000 more years.
doesn't she also have a special benediction if she does that? What Krishna was telling us? When people bathe or something along that line, I've heard. If she stays and does what Krishna said,
Yeah, the devotees will come and bathe.
then she gets special
They-
benediction.
And that's how she'll get redemption.
Oh,
All her sins that people have deposited.
yes, I've heard that, but I don't know where.
The Prabhupada is mentioned once or twice about 10,000 years in his talk, his discussion with people, but it doesn't say when it begins. So there are some assumptions.
Well, I know I'll be paying attention when I see it again. I'll be paying attention to. I'm always listening to Prabhu's lectures too, and sometimes I take notes on his lectures, but I'll be paying extra attention to that. So that's good. That's Krishna consciousness. Our antenna's up, our Krishna conscious antenna.
Yeah, we should always go back to the root where it's coming from, the scriptures, right? So we have to inquire. Even Prabhupada does mention many things, but we have to go and find out where it is coming from the scriptures.
Yeah.
Prabhupada always quotes.
For me, it's real simple. I just accept what Prabhupada says.
Sure, we all accept what Prabhupada says.
It's really simple,
As Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says, you should always quote the scriptures. So Prabhupada will never speak anything that is not in scriptures.
Yeah. Yeah, because when you look around, it doesn't look like a golden age necessarily, but for devotees, we understand that, we're all chanting the Maha Mantra, so we're distributing prasada in temples all over the world now. I guess you heard how many temples we have now, right?
But there's a prediction about the big temple coming. Nityananda Prabhu spoke with Jiva Goswami and he said that when this Adbhut Mandir comes, then it will flourish. That prediction is definitely there.
Right. I believe that.
That's the Vedic planetarium they're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really believe that.
It's already been predicted before, eh?
Correct.
A golden city would rise on the bank of the Ganges, right?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you.
What happened to the story?
Yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it too.
Ish.
Just one. Let's read one.
Okay. You want to save it for next week? They're all gone now. It's only me.
I can read it if you want me to.
Save it for next week. Then
Okay.
everybody can get it.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Manji. I go to some devotees, the entire Parampara, Shishi Garintai, Shishi Radha Kata, Shishi Yoga, Ki Jai. Yeah, I remember there was one Christian preacher up in Alabama, and he was the brother of a devotee girl that was becoming a devotee. She was a school teacher. And so, he became more and more interested. And he said, don't be surprised if you see me at one of your temples washing dishes.
So you have to go for a while.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Very good. He says, I love you all because you all accept everybody. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah. A Christian preacher. I was invited to his house several times.
That's true.
He's very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I told him, we love Jesus Christ. We worship him. Sometimes that van, the back left tire, sounds like there's like a brake shoe rubbing. Sometimes.
Hmm.
And then it goes away. Sometimes it comes back. It's a little squeaky sound. Kind of. Well, I put 25 in gas, Prabhuji.
In the van?
Yeah, it didn't fill it all the way up.
Where'd you get it at?
Actually at Sam's Club. But actually,
The price was good there?
cheaper gas is right here in Picky in the racetrack. It's even cheaper here. But we got down there and it had like an eighth of the tank. I thought, well, it's getting kind of low, so let me go ahead and put it in. Like if you find yourself at a grocery store, what's safe to get as far as vegetables and fruit? What's a safe bet? Eggplants, avocados, I don't know.
What do you mean as far as?
Well, like yesterday I didn't know wasn't sure what to get, so I got oranges, apples, different types of bell peppers, you know. And then, because I know when I used to be there, sometimes we didn't have much fruit, but I mean now it's like there's a whole case of blueberries in there. Then there was already apples and oranges, you know. So I don't really know what to get.
I guess you just need to look and see what's in there before you leave and then get something different, you know. You can remember to do that.
Right.
Can you open this one?
You can add some Rani, you
I
know.
want to do this speak.
I could text Maharani and just ask her.
Yeah,
Can you just
Mayapur wants to know what to buy to the deities in the way of food.
You
I
can
told
tell
him
me.
that's you.
Thank God somebody was here, I could have not opened that.
Wow. I don't think it's gonna open.
I'm gonna put some hot on it. Give it to me. Somebody has to open it. It should open.
Oh, look at that. But yeah, right it is.
But you know,
Maybe if I cut it, maybe it'll help.
it's not brand new, I've used it before. I didn't know that was going to do that.
This is gold. Yeah.
Yes.
There.
Thank you. I want to take a picture of his feet. I don't have my camera. There's a photo?
Somebody again or
I will tell you, the fruits are always good.
fruits?
Yeah, apples, oranges, grapes, bananas.
Grapes and
Always,
bananas.
you always got a variety.
Grapes and bananas. What about cherries?
That is good too, fruits are good.
Okay.
But you want to take a picture right now?
Yeah, that way you can see the difference. I have one of that photo. That closer you go.
Krishna, Krishna.